prospect looking to get that done for themselves now. But Team Envy on blue side means they're going to have more ban flexibility. In this game, Dignitas likely going to be needing to answer the unholy trinity of Camille, LeBlanc, rengar from the red side. Ryze and Varus banned away first from Envy. Dignitas starting off with LeBlanc and Jace, so not the big three.
We're going to have one given over here, probably. Either the rengar or Camille. That would definitely change the flavor of the game. I'd like to see some split pushing, you know, some carries for the top lane. Everybody wants to see Ssumday on carries. Everybody wants to see Seraph on carries to try and see who can win that split push war, because both of them do pride themselves in that. And yes, the Kha'Zix is going to come up, so that's either Camille or rengar final ban. Or actually, excuse me, Dignitas are not going to ban either of those so that they can trade one back, because you don't want to ban out one of them and then be left with nothing.
Yeah, you ban one away, then you're putting yourself in a really bad corner because you're just giving away free presents and you don't get anything in return. Feels real bad, man. But Dignitas now have to choose what they do want to ban away, and the answer is going to be Malzahar, keeping that support away from Hakuho.
All right, so no surprise there. They instantly jump on the Camille. So much of these teams is about their top laners and the way that they do shape the teams. Camille up here, we have seen a variety of champions that some top laners have prepared ready for Camille. Poppy is one, you know, can deny a lot of the jumps. Actually, most of the things that Camille tries to do. But you can also, you know, try and take... I want to see a carry-to-carry match. I want to see Ssumday take the Poppy role and just be a Camille blocker and try and hold off Seraph from doing things in the team fights later. But regardless, when you give over the Camille, as you said, they're not going to ban out the rengar. They do trade that one. Plus, because Team Envy banned the Varus, they also get another super high priority pick in the Jhin here. So they get the lethality AD carry, the other one that is left up. And that is going to mean that while Ashe can early on have a good laning phase versus Jhin, once those lethality items start to come through and Ashe is still building up crit multipliers, it takes a lot longer for Ashe to have the same impact in the mid game that Jhin will have.
Right. Once the Jhin has a Yumu's Ghostblade and an Edge of Night and he's running around doing all this damage, Ashe will have an Essence Reaver and part of a Hurricane and be like, now you hold on, I'm going to be done with this soon, and then we're going to be even. But Ninja on the side of Envy going ahead and picking up that Graves for LirA. Going to be answering the rengar with that in the jungle, a high damage threat versus a high damage threat, as Dignitas decides they're going to go ahead and pick up the Zyra support before it has a chance to be banned out in the second part of the Pixie phase.
Yes, sir. Not going to look to answer the top role at all. So I would expect Team Envy to try and whittle down on that top role, ban out some of the answers we've already seen to Camille. But it's very interesting that Team Dignitas have said, okay, Ssumday, you are the player of the team. You're the one we're building around. And we are going to have full confidence that you are hiding this pick. And you're going to take your top lane matchup into the #1 top laner, which is Camille. And you're going to take an extra round of bans. They're expecting...
That's some faith.
Yeah, that is definitely some faith. Jax has been used in Korea, and that one's not going to be available. So they're banning out the carry options, which is the ones I wanted to see.
That's what I wanted to see, too. I want to see
carry.
Seraph and Ssumday have this epic clash to decide who ultimately wins this series. And this might be the time we actually get to do it. I always get so curious when you see champions like Camille and rengar that have like a 97% ban rate or something ridiculous. I always start wondering, I wonder what the games with them in them actually look like. And now we get to see. We get to answer that question.
Yes, sir. So will it be the Poppy that they're going to decide to go with into it? Or does Ssumday have another carry prepared? Well, Swain is an option as well. You can try and use your range for bullying up there. The rest of the team comps are filling out pretty nicely, though. We again see the Nami here. We're also seeing a lot of times the Nami is opted into that matchup for the sustain because can help you get through that super punishing Zyra laning phase. But what we're all really wondering is what is Ssumday going to use into this Camille after Jax and Fiora are both banned as well?
That's Ssumday pick B. Lod grabbing the Corki for Keane in the mid lane, as Viktor will be the mid laner on the side of Envy. What is the answer for Ssumday? And it looks like it's going to be the tank option again, going for the Shen, throw down the Spirit's Refuge when Camille wants to beat on you in her ultimate, and just sort of annoy her.
Basically, you are going with the I will make plays elsewhere path. Try and take your, you know, bullying a bit in lane. It's not too bad. Shen is actually one of the ones that's a lot better at holding on to that because that Spirit Refuge you talk about, but also being able to CS fairly safely. And then get out of there, make some plays with rengar. You jump on the back of rengar and you're instantly into the back line. So that'll be what they're looking for the side of Team Dignitas. Meanwhile, Team Envy, they got all their money in the Seraph Camille basket here. Apollo will be firing off Ashe arrows to try and get things started. So there is some guaranteed engage for these guys as well. And maybe we'll see some more proactive uses of those tools.
And Camille can also be an engager in her own right. Hextech Ultimatum, that person is stuck in there, usually until they're dead because she kills them pretty quick.
Yeah, it does knock away any teammates that are currently next to you. They'll have to come back. And that's usually enough time for Camille to actually kill her target, actually.
Yeah. You know, I'm honestly impressed with myself for remembering the name of her ultimate, considering I never actually get to see her in any games. I was hoping that I would manage to do that by the time that I finally got a Camille game, and today I did it. Dream achieved. But now Envy's got to achieve the dream of actually translating the pick into a win. That's the thing. You can pick it. That's great. Everybody's fantastic. You've still got to blow up the enemy Nexus, and they do have to go through an equally banned away pick in that rengar to do it.
Chaser's rengar. Let's see how he does start out. Because last game, he did not have that healthy amount of respect for the level 6 mid lane burst. Got caught out by Ninja and did give over some early gold. Didn't end up costing the team too much, but definitely something they'd like to improve on. Rengar probably won't be doing too much around mid lane till he's post level 6. And looks for some ultimate kills.
Camille has such a strange running animation.
I mean, if
so...
your feet are blades, your running animation's gonna be strange.
I don't know,
slack, man.
I don't know. It's a really, really strange, like, she's so over dramatic with it, you know?
I want to see Captain Flowers on stilts and see how normal you look.
You're gonna see a guy walking about 2 inches and falling over on the ground is all you're gonna see. Ssumday and Seraph not going to be finding each other up here, both just having a good time spamming back and forth short walking animations in the brushes. Keystone Masteries at the bottom part of your screen. Fervor versus Grasp there on the top side. Warlords versus Deathfire Touch for the AD carries yet again. And 5 different Thunderlords in this match.
Woo, surprise.
Zap.
All right. This time around, Keane piloting the Corki in the mid lane as well. Into that Ninja Viktor. He had quite a good game last game for themselves, coming up with that big play when they needed it. See if he can get the early pressure on Ninja, you know, and try and force him into a poor back time. And one of the best things to do when pressuring Viktor, try and make sure that he's not able to get to that sweet Hex Core purchase, and see if you can dish out enough punishment to make him go back early.
Yeah, making it so he can't get the second part of that laser. Really, really big. The rengar start is going to be similar to what we saw from the Kazakhs last time around that you were talking about. You now start the chickens, you clear all those out, you get the extra bonus experience. Nice for early on.
Meanwhile, LirA didn't get the notice on that, and he started the red one first, so it's not terrible. He just loses out a little bit of the extra bonus experience from the level difference. It's not a huge deal, but most, especially of the pro junglers, are doing the opposite order that LirA just did. Chickens first, then red.
Then walking on over to the Wolves, LirA doing just that. They're going to end up on opposite sides of the map this time around. We'll see if they can make any sort of interesting plays or decisions based off of that one, as Seraph just taking control very quickly here in the top side.
Yep, Camille going to push him in here on the Shen, but Seraph still feels just fine. Right in front of his turret. This is actually the perfect space. Just going to CS, doesn't have to worry about the jungle ganks. You know, even if Graves is heading up there, he hasn't taken harassment, so they're not going to dive him. And that's really what you want from your Shen. Good job, just CSing up there, farm your way up to 6. Meanwhile, Chaser, even though he's super low health and it is risky to go for that Scuttle Crab, he's got the confidence to do it. I don't think they got any vision on LirA, and he's just extrapolated. Oh, they did have the ward on the Raptor camp. That's why he has that confidence. Plus, they did see that he started down there. Still a little bit risky. I'm always nervous going for that Scuttle.
There's always some kind of a risk to it if you're at 200 HP and you're walking into neutral territory.
Because you're like, okay, we had some vision on him, and I'm banking on the fact that he's still not there because Raptors are cleared. But there's that small chance that he looped back around.
5% chance that you get first blooded at 3 minutes is still a kind of high chance when you put it in context. Meanwhile, he's happy. It didn't happen. That's all that matters. He's got some long swords under his belt. going to be working towards, I'm sure, plenty of lethality himself this game.
Yes, sir. Rengar, plenty of options as far as the build path goes. You can go Cleaver, you can go plenty of lethality now. The world is your oyster when you get to pick Rengar.
Seraph fighting back against Ssumday. The shield, of course, blocking the magic damage from Ssumday because the Camille shield blocks whatever type of damage the champion does most of, and built into Shen's kit through that Spirit Blade is a lot of % HP magic damage.
Yep, it's nice when you do have mixed types of damages as well. Meanwhile, LirA on the Graves as well, just continuing to clear out, and got to go back for his long swords.
Waiting for chicken camp number 2, just hanging around.
See, if you had done that first, buddy, it'd be up now.
Chickens would already be there. What are you waiting on?
Come on.
LirA.
Gotta optimize your timing here.
All right, there we go. The chickens are back, and as soon as they show up, they're gone. Rough life for some of the Raptors. Taking a look at the CS across the board, everything's pretty close. Most pronounced difference actually between Apollo's Ashe and LoD's Jhin there in the bottom lane. Ashe, Nami doing a good job being powerful early on in the lane like you were talking about earlier. Jin's going to come into his own more as we get a little bit of ways in around that first item point once he can have the lethality and sort of just outpower spike the Ashe. Yeah,
I mean, we're seeing why Ashe was valued above Jhin before the lethality buffs because of this laning phase and the bullying. Not to mention the arrow, but a lot of it is about this early start down here. And once the lethality changes came in, that's the thing that really pushed Jhin over the edge and caused him to rise up back above her, because he hits level 6. He's got so much of this early power, and we say mid game. That's pretty early mid game, just hitting level 6 for the Jhin. But around that time, he also has at least a serrated Dirk, depending on how well he's doing. And you can get a lot of control. Meanwhile, Hawkshot going over here to scout. They do have a ward on Chaser, and he's going to get an end of the line in the head.
LirA taking some burst, Chaser taking some burst. LirA still on the hunt, though. Going to be forcing Chaser to flash away from that one. LirA doing a good job in that fight, and Chaser is sent home to lick his wounds at the Gromp, but I think that frog's a little bit too tough.
The Gromp is a one heavy licker here. Giant Tongue gonna chase it back out, but it's actually not that bad for Team Dignitas because both teleports were used and canceled there, I believe. So Chaser, even though he was in a bad spot, he was like sitting on a ward, one of the worst spots for a jungler. He was able to jump onto the Graves to get his way out there, and only had to burn his flash. So not the worst thing in the world there for Team Dignitas, even though the vision advantage was in Team EnVy's favor. And we continue to farm it out.
Long swords and potions, still just the only things in the inventory right now for Apollo and LoD. Neither one has really gotten a chance to go back and do anything with their itemization just yet. As I say that, Apollo gets his chance to go back to base, pick up the BF sword. Going to be a lot of extra damage coming out onto him now that he's got that, thankfully. Dignitas with a very, very, very slight gold lead working with for the time being. Sheen, first item on Camille in the top lane. I don't actually know what is the usual build path on Camille because I've never seen her.
Getting Sheen as early as possible does wonders for your DPS, because one of the best things about Camille is that, I mean, there are a lot of them, so you gotta count a lot of things, but
quite a few.
One of the best things is that her precision protocol, the Q for Camille, we'll see it activate second here. When her legs start to glow white like that, it means her next activation or her next attack will do true damage, and it actually also converts your Sheen proc or your Trinity Force proc into true damage as well. So
that's dirty.
It's a tremendous amount of damage, and that's where a lot of the DPS does come from. So nice to get that early. Not to mention, it's always cool to have extra cooldown reduction on her as well.
So good first item coming out from her. Bombi Cinder on Ssumday, going to give him a little bit of extra control and push power over that wave, as well as building towards that Sunfire Cape that you like to build against those serious attack damage threats.
And since in that little bottom lane jungle confrontation, both top laners did at least start teleports. Ssumday did get to cancel his. It looks like Seraph actually full channeled his and then had to recall. That's why the timer's quite a lot longer. Means that Ssumday is going to have map-wide advantage here. Be able to try and turn something around. Since Ssumday is both pushing Camille in and has Stand United ready, Team EnVy has to be a lot more cautious on the other side of the map there, because if Ssumday shows up and you start to chain kills with this early Jhin, then things can go the exact same way as last game, actually.
Keane's got the package. You can see that big golden glow on Arcade Corki. Means he's ready to make some kind of a delivery, but he's only got a very small amount of time remaining. He'll clear out the control ward from enemy territory and then likely just drop this on nothing, or he'll not use it at all.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you have package, rengar post 6, Shen post 6, and Jhin also with the ultimate available, you're itching to make a move around bottom lane, but Team EnVy do play cautiously and they don't fall into it. Now they're also cautious about even walking into their own jungle, and rightfully so.
They know exactly how long-reaching this Dignitas composition is and what kind of tricks they can pull out. And being aware of those and never allowing them to get off the ground with that is pretty imperative, because a composition like that has so much potential for reach is one that can snowball very, very rapidly, and you're quickly finding yourself just stuck under turrets for the rest of the game, wondering where it all went wrong.
Yeah. And we do see a lot of motion down here in the bottom side of the map. They still want to get some of those ultimates off in this area, because if you get kills down there, you know, maybe you can chain into the turret, then you can chain into this Cloud Drake, and there's a lot to be gained for control of that area of the map. And look how dark the map is for Team EnVy. They're trying to play defensively, but it makes it very difficult to scout out where Team Dignitas are coming from if they haven't been able to get even any vision into the river. Hakuho has been really pinned down in that bottom lane, so he hasn't been able to roam and get much wards done. Apollo, even with the hawk shots, actually.
Full on 2v2 bottom lane. Curtain call going to be opened up. Chaser looking to work his way here into the fight. Now he's stunned up, cleanses that CC, runs himself away. A lot of abilities blown, a lot of flash and fireworks and fanfare for a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, the double flashes of the EnVy bottom lane now will be on cooldown. However, couple of ultimates used. We'll still see. Ssumday has the ability to move around, as we said. Now Seraph can actually answer him because it's been so long and the teleport has come back up. But yeah, you can tell they want to force it so bad down bottom lane, but EnVy knew this, trying to play defensively, and Apollo is just barely able to flash out of that Zyra engage.
And I'm really a bit concerned for EnVy, because what you were talking about with their points of vision being a problem. Hakuho is not able to rotate around. They're not able to get the wards where they need to get them. This is the same thing that ended up costing them those Infernal Drakes last game that you pointed out. You said Dignitas has been setting up for this for 50 seconds, and all of a sudden EnVy just strolls in like they own the place, and LirA gets popped.
Yeah, and it's another symptom of that, you know, teamwork, right? Jungle and supports are supposed to work together in this vision battle, and not even just jungle and supports. It takes your mid lane pushing up. You need to buy time for your bottom lane wave as well. So the coordination just hasn't really been there for them. Meanwhile, Team Dignitas, they've got Stunt roaming at the same time as Chaser taking the Scuttle Crab. There are 3 control wards down in that bottom area. He's even moving in to get the ward onto the red buff, so Brambleback might even be the site of some action here, as EnVy, they've completely given up on that bottom side. You know what? We're going to make this push like Team Dignitas did in the last game to try and go for that first turret gold on the top side, and it's going to be a race. They are the ones with the first wave, so they're on the turret first. See how risky Ssumday wants to get.
They've also got that Sheen pushing top laner, but the Sheen pushing mid laner is the response from Dignitas. EnVy will find this turret first blood slightly faster than their opponents. The rotation ends up working out in their favor. They grab themselves a small gold lead that's now going to be answered down to about 600K. EnVy still with that lead.
And when you make this trade, you want to keep up the pressure as the blue team, because, uh-oh!
Ssumday now getting jumped on CC all over the place. Hex Tech ultimatum. LirA firing in that collateral damage over the wall, dashes in for first blood.
And it looks like the rotations up here are going to be a little slow for Team Dignitas, but the reason you want to keep that pressure up as the blue team is that if you back off there, then yeah, you did get the first turret gold and they traded, but you also give up the dragon. So by keeping up that pressure, going for this dive, they get the kill plus another turret. And while Team Dignitas do have people down by this Drake, it costs them so much more than if they had given up early.
Truly does. 2,000 gold advantage for Team EnVy. Dignitas grabbed the Drake. But we were talking so much last game about how the Infernal Drakes were so cool and everybody likes them, and this is kind of like the sad, not so cool Drake. The Cloud Drake, not generally with as much of a fan club as Infernal Drake has, but hey, at least he's something for Dignitas to pick up. Ocean's going to be number 2, spawning at around the 19.5-minute mark. This Chaser trying to grab this blue buff. Really wants to give it over to Keane. Says, hurry up and Valk over here before this thing kills me. And now he's going back to base.
All right, so pretty good, you know, early game gold lead again for EnVy, but as you said, you always caution whenever they do get this. It has not lasted in the past. We'll see if they can keep it going though. Rotating everyone over to try and keep the outer turrets chaining for themselves. Mid lane is the next target.
Trinity Force power spikes up and running now on both Camille and Corki. That item, one of the best items out there in the game of League of Legends for giving you that single power spike if your champion can use all aspects of it well. We know both of these champions can use that very, very capably. So keep your eye on these two as the fights go on to see exactly what they're able to contribute to this. 124 to 110 CS, Camille winning in that respect as well. You'd expect her to, considering how often she is banned, how strong of a pick she is right now. Everywhere else on the map, farm staying pretty close, at least in the bottom lane. Mid lane's a slight lead for Corki, and Graves is farming up a storm over the rengar. Yeah,
and they've actually rotated Keane down to the bottom as well. He picked up a bunch, very big wave of minions that Seraph had just pushed into the turret, so helps him out a lot in those CS numbers. And the rengar is ready to roll once again. I mean, we still haven't seen a successful combo of this rengar Shen dive. See if Team Dignitas can pull one of those off. Package, I believe, is timing out pretty soon for Keane. Yeah, it's gone now. So they don't have the added impact of the package, but that training force you talked about is still doing decent work onto the turret.
Whittling it down piece by piece. Dignitas trying to catch up in terms of those objectives. They're still 1-2 in terms of turrets, with the 1-0 advantage regarding the Drakes. 15.5 minutes into the game, only 1 kill so far. Another story of a very, very cautious game being played by both Dignitas and EnVy. And you can understand where they're coming from, considering, like we said at the start of this, these teams are currently tied for last in the league. They're both 1-6, and getting a win here is the start up to that next rung of the ladder, at least not being down there at the bottom and working your way back towards the middle of the pack.
And the pack is on the move right now for Team EnVy. They're moving through wards though, so Team Dignitas have been alerted to this mid lane focus. And while Lot is alone, he's playing very safe at his turret. Knows that he has to give them a healthy amount of respect. Just CSing from very far away, and Team EnVy just meddling around here in the jungle on top of wards.
Gonna be spotted out. Can't really do anything about it. Setting down some vision of their own just in case anything worth looking at happens anytime soon. Seraph back into the top side to answer the waves being shoved up now by Ssumday, who has a Ninja Tabby and Sunfire Cape now completed. The Sunfire Cape just being completed. So he's doing everything he can to really resist this Camille. Knows that if this character gets too far ahead, he's going to be in for a world of hurt. Both junglers also with those warrior enchantments done. And something about the Graves, kind of a new thing we're seeing lately when Graves is up against some nasty bursts like the rengar. Steric's Gauge, second item.
Yeah, I'm not a very big fan of it, especially with so many other good items that you could be building early on Graves. And while I have been more okay with the Steric's Gauge recently, there was maybe 3 patches ago a nice buff to it where they reduced the cost and it's not quite as inefficient just with the base stats, but it still does have that. And you know, you are delaying things like either going with a Ghost Blade, huge flat damage build that's going to help out your Thunderlord proc and everything, or your Black Cleaver, which gives you a bunch of that cooldown reduction, and your Armor Shred. But it has been trending, and I'm okay with it.
All right, it's acceptable.
Just not ecstatic.
Dignitas, though, speaking of something to be excited about, they took the Rift Herald. He actually gets taken in a not Immortals game.
Woo-woo! Turrets also being taken as the top and bottom are traded. Team Dignitas get one more for themselves, but Team EnVy are still moving up. And again, they're the ones with the tempo here. Let's see if Team Dignitas can actually punish anywhere on the map, because they have this rengar, and you really want to have them punish some of these rotations. There's a lot of people moving around through the jungle here. You've got a Shen plus a rengar, but just gonna offer some more time for Ssumday with his, even with a sword. I mean, the last one, it was a thunder stick.
The last one was a thunder stick. This time, at least he's got something a little bit better. Okay, let's be honest with ourselves, but let's not sugarcoat this. How hard is it to cut a rock with a sword? It's probably not much better than the thunder stick is.
Probably not. Unless you got a lightsaber or something. And not what Shen is going to be wielding here. So again, we just wait, trade some more minions. They're just shoving up opposite sides over and over. No opportunity really opening up here as bottom side of the map vision, full Envy. Top side of the map, full vision for Team Dignitas. And neither team taking any risks.
One thing I also want to go ahead and mention in regards to what you were saying earlier about utilizing this rengar, punishing those rotations, he's the one who got the Rift Heralds off. He's the one who's going to have that extra damage potential if he can find one of those isolated targets using that, and it's going to make him that much scarier than he already is. Some defensive itemization coming out from Chaser right now, though. Giant's Belt and Cloth Armor, not really seeing that sort of one-shot build that is the Rengar standard in solo queue and other less competitive environments.
It doesn't seem to be that type of game, right? They're not going for a bunch of kills. We have 1 kill in 20 minutes here. It's not like Chaser's going to be popping his ultimate a bunch this game and singling out squishies and killing them. So he's going for more team fight durability. He's going into that more defensive build here. We might have a little confrontation over vision.
Arrow's not going to be finding anybody just yet. Deadly Flourish hits, but it doesn't have the snare. Apollo on the run. Chaser looking to make the move. Stand United is there, but it's not going to be finding anything just yet. Dignitas has to disengage this one. It doesn't work out the way they plan. Phosphorus Bomb and Gatling Gun off to the side as Keane tries to set up shop on the flank, but not going to be finding anything with that either. They just couldn't quite close that distance in time.
Disengage there from Team Envy, but the Drake still alive and drawing them to some confrontation.
Still got something to fight over. Hakuho hanging around over the wall. He does not have his tidal wave available for this fight. Ocean Drake burning down pretty quickly. Chaser wants to get the smite. He's got it pretty easily. Now going to be breaking out. Big Stranglethorn. Apollo is done. And Seraph now into the back line, trying to get rid of these guys if he can. Ninja going deep after Lod, able to find the kill now as the laser almost takes down Chaser. A double kill for Ninja.
Oh, Ssumday!
Ssumday into the fight, he's able to find one. It's double kill for Keane too. LirA on the run. Ssumday and Keane still looking for more. Sterix Gage keeping LirA alive here. Hakuho getting himself away as well. 3 for 2. Dignitas grabs not only the Drake, but the fight after.
Whew, that was such a touch and go fight for them as Lod had to kite for his life up into the tri-bush. Now they're trying to get the extra turret off of it, but LirA still alive, getting healed up by Nami, is able to clear out a lot of the minions. So they'll have to be happy with just those extra kills, which is definitely good, evens up the gold, but you know, the Drake here, with the AD carries, neither of them having ultimates, the initiation coming from Stunt as he sacrifices himself with the Zyra there, but so much damage with Seraph and Ninja diving the back line. They almost were able to take down Keane and Lod, but they're so committed here. Ssumday goes in, taunt, then flash right onto Ninja to grab him as well, and really allowing for the turn here and cementing that victory for Team Dignitas.
And almost like clockwork, Envy has a lead. We get to 20 minutes, things go bad. Now Seraph into a duel with Keane, getting himself away from that one, but the package disengage kept Keane alive and going there. Seraph so scary on this Camille. Tiamat for item number 2. Means he's still prioritizing some of that damage, some wave clear, some control. Corki not going for rapid fire cannon second. Hakuho now going to be eating some curtain call shots. Chaser into the fight. There's your Stand United. Big taunt onto 2 guys. LirA having to run away. Can't quite do it. Ninja trying to cut off the rest of Dignitas. He will not successfully do it just yet. Apollo is down again. Seraph being routed now. The Hextech ultimatum is issued and canceled by the blast cone. Chaser's grabbing the kill there. 4 for 0.
Ssumday back at it again. Landed about 3 taunts in that team fight, grabbing multiple members, and Team Dignitas, once again, you hit around that 20-minute mark, they start rolling over Team Envy in the team fights. It'll be another Baron, eerily similar to last game.
Way too close to that game number 1 result.
I wanted to prep the Nami wave steal here, but it's not available, so this is 100% going to be the Team Dignitas Baron.
No way they can possibly lose this. Deadly Flourish comes out. Ssumday taunting the Baron up just because he can, and Dignitas.
Take a look at this again. All right, they finally get to coordinate all those ultimates we've been talking about. Lod opens up with the Jhin, gets 3 bullets off before Nami interrupts him, and then Chaser Ssumday combine for a sweet back line initiation there. He lands it onto all 3 members. Then they're able to chase down Apollo as well. And look at this last cone as well. Is going to be able to save Chaser from Seraph and get him out of the area. And then him and Keane are left back there, able to take him down. Gromp doesn't actually equalize either.
And we're already back into another fight. Dignitas is not willing to stop. Seraph in some trouble. Stun grabbing the kill. Dignitas, they are not going to allow this momentum to go to waste even for a second, Kobe. They're pushing down the mid lane. Tier 1's going to be the target to tie up this turret count, and then the sky will be the limit as they continue utilizing this power.
Yep, Baron buff means that Shen finally gets to take out turrets, actually. With all the extra minions, he'll be pushing up to the bottom side, and Ssumday making his way there right now, while the rest of the team should keep pressure onto the mid lane. Staying United very quickly coming up as well. Maybe somebody gets a little risky in their tower defense. Not going to happen. EnVy just back off and they give them up. So bunch more gold over here for Team Dignitas.
And this advantage is ballooning the same way it did in game number 1. Everything was at such a standstill. Now Dignitas has found their chance. They realize how effective it is. And EnVy have got to find some sort of response for this because they can't afford to let the game go the same way that game number 1 did. They know what the result of game number 1 was.
But you know that point in the game you're talking about 20 minutes ago where Ashe is sitting on the Essence Reaver Hurricane?
Say, hey, slow down, you stop that?
And Jhin's already far ahead. That is where we are at the moment. Baron buff still on. They're pushing down another turret.
Tier 2 in the mid lane. Gonna be the markdown for Dignitas. They grab that. That's number 5. Now 5,500 gold, the tune of their lead. 8-3 in terms of kills, 25 minutes into this game. They got one tier 2 left standing on the side of Team EnVy, and Dignitas is looking to remedy that real quick. Rotating everybody up there, keeping Ssumday in the bottom part of the map with 2 different tools to make his way into the fight if he needs them, and the split push game continues.
Yep, almost all members of Team Dignitas currently have over 1,000 gold in their pockets as well. And now they do as Chaser just ticks over, so they are very rich men when they get to go back to base as well. So many turrets taken with that Baron buff after those 2 team fight victories. That will mean it gets even more scary as Eliandres comes in for stunt. Currently stunt, undefeated as well.
Yup, 100% win rate so far. Looking to make that an even stronger statement at the end of this game. Leandri's Torment means for a support, he is going to be dealing loads of damage.
Package ready for Keane. And the options for playmaking are definitely plentiful here for Team Dignitas. All the outer turrets taken down, plenty of map to work with, vision controlled all the way throughout the map. Even the arena is controlled by Team Dignitas.
People are the Digna fans, man. The 89%, they know. They're cheering for Dignitas to be able to close this one out like they did the first time around. And with the gold lead they've got right now, it looks like a pretty promising proposition. Lod and Stun going to be working towards this Ocean Drake for themselves. EnVy has not been able to acquire even a single one of these neutral objectives so far in game number 2. Dignitas making sure of that as they pick this one up. There will be one more Elemental Drake spawning if the game lasts that long. But we'll have to see if Dignitas need another 6 minutes to actually shut this one down.
All right, headed right down the mid lane, wasting no time. Team Dignitas looking to get inside EnVy's base. Wave clear is the name of the game here for Team EnVy. They have Graves, they have the Ashe Follies coming through, and Viktor, so they should be able to defend decently. It's just that the gold lead has gotten a little bit scary.
Yeah, the gold lead's out of control.
The options for diving are also pretty good ones for Team Dignitas. Ssumday's not even bothering splitting here. Grouping up with the squad to just try and run the same bulldozer through EnVy's base as they did last time.
Curtain call opens up, tidal wave fired out, the Nami pick doing work in that regard. Dignitas not able to successfully use that zoning tool the way they wanted to. Good eye on Hakuho, recognizing, hey, I need to stop this right now.
Yep. Once again, Lod gets off 3 bullets, but everyone was high health, so didn't really accomplish much. And that will be enough to dissuade Team Dignitas from their push on mid lane.
You know, the wave clear that you were talking about, the volleys and the lasers and all this different stuff on EnVy, we're probably going to need a second Baron for Team Dignitas to actually be able to break this defense, because right now they're sort of just ramming their heads into the wall. It's real hard to do.
Yeah, definitely could be the case. Baron 150, or 1 minute, 50 seconds away. And they still have so much vision control. I mean, Team EnVy are really cooped up inside their base. They've been able to get some wards down here leading up to the Baron, but Team Dignitas can easily sweep in and clear those out. Not to mention, they can keep Ssumday down on the bottom side of the map indefinitely here. He's got 2 levels up on Seraph. You know, no matter what champion you're working with, you're 2 levels up plus a tremendous amount of gold.
You're feeling good about it.
Feeling just fine. Shen.
All right, you're seeing the wards, though, coming out from the side of Team Dignitas. Couple in the bottom part of the map, more showing up around Baron. You want to get more control even than this as they work towards that. This needs to be a thing that they're 100% confident about, that it's not going to be some random EnVyUs counter steal. The whole game turns opposite, upside down on its head. As long as they can prep properly for this, it should be a pretty solid take. Ssumday in the bottom part of the map, continuing that split push pressure.
Cutting rocks!
Cutting the rocks down with the sword. We talked about it earlier. It doesn't make any sense, but hey, Ssumday's doing it anyway. That's exactly just the kind of things that the man can do when he's in a spot where he can help the team find the victory. Titanic Hydra, Sunfire Cape, Spectre's Cal, and pieces of a Guardian Angel all up for him. The Spectre's Cal, really the only magic resistance he needs. Not bothering to turn that into the full-on Spirit Visage yet because Viktor's the only problem there. And he's not really too afraid of that. If Viktor's blowing his entire combo on the Shen, then Keane and Lod are like, hey,
yeah, I like it. Go for your Guardian Angel. Guardian Angel is one of the highest impact, teamfight impact items just on purchase because you get this super powerful passive that is going to pop for your next teamfight, and it looks like we may be in store for only one more teamfight. So if he's able to finish his GA, it'll be a huge amount. And here we go. He's chasing him down. Still has that lead on Seraph.
Seraph hitting him hard now. Seraph's shield has actually changed over to a physical damage shield, with the Titanic Hydra being completed on that Shen.
Just waiting out the Hawk shot here is Team Dignitas. And waiting for Ssumday to regain control of that minion wave. They probably want him to push it up a little bit more. They get a good snare, though. I would definitely expect them to also take the fight. You can just have Chaser and Ssumday diving in once again.
That combo's been so effective this game. They've been able to just get that Shen right on top of where they need to get him. Chaser feels that much more comfortable going in when he has the extra health to guarantee nothing bad's going to happen.
Here it comes.
And here it goes. Edge of Night, stand united all the way into the back line. Hakuho dead right at the start. Chaser having to flash away, but he's the return kill. Envy is okay with this one, a 1-for-1.
Yep, they're able to chase him off. So many ultimates used, but Viktor still holds his. Very important for Team Envy in their defense. He's the last one that has some sort of surprise burst in the package here that he could use. And very good for Team Envy to hold that defense and get the 1-for-1 trade to try and hold on, because they're trying to hold on to their series right now, trying to hold on to not being pushed down to 10th place.
Bit of a replay for exactly how that fight went down. Envy in a spot.
Kiting back as soon as they hear the rengar.
Scary thing coming in.
Ssumday goes super close. Seraph got a lot of the damage, about 50% of the health, but there it is. LirA and Ninja able to finish it up and get that 1-for-1 trade, which just resulted in that tiny bit of gold exchanging hands.
Rapid fire cannons also completed now for both Keane and Lod. Kind of shows that they're going for the ability to just find that extra little bit of damage whenever they can, because this situation is kind of stalled out so hard. Hey, if we can just get these pot shots onto the turrets from a little bit of extra safety, maybe that'll help.
For an offensive move here from Envy, they grouped up behind the Raptor pit. Only problem for them is that targeting rengar, he still has the CC immunity available on Empower W. We are on 7.2 still here at the LCS. And Chaser is able to get out.
Keane with package ready to deliver. Chaser having to go back and heal, though, working his way back towards the rest of the team, seeing if they can find something with that package while it's still available from Keane. Envy taking the opportunity with the enemy jungler gone to move towards the Baron pit, grab the Scuttle Crab, just try to maintain a little semblance of control over this area. As Keane clears out some of that vision that they're trying so hard to lay down. Baron up and alive. Infernal Drake also up and alive. Keane moving himself down to just take that sort of by himself. Doesn't really need any help taking it at this point in time. And that'll be a nice little damage bonus for the side of Dignitas, so they can have that. Maybe that's the difference. Maybe that is what's going to give this team the edge and what they need break through the enemy base and find their victory here. But that's 4 Elemental Drakes under Dignitas' belt. If this game lasts long enough for Elder Drake to be an option, it's going to be a very powerful true danger threat.
For Team Dignitas, though, they would not like to wait that long, and they're hoping that this Ssumday split push on Shen. He's got 4 completed items now. He does have the complete GA in addition to that Spirit Visage, so he is extremely powerful at the moment. They keep him in the bottom side. They 4-man at this Baron, continually deny vision, use the Zyra to zone, and they should be able to force Envy into a bad spot here, or slowly gain some ground on the bottom side. They're not going for that 4-1 play or with the Baron and the split pushing Shen though, as Corki is top, getting the top wave prepped, and Ssumday's actually with the team looking to team fight rather than clearing minions. So Chaser might go in on this. And we are grouped up.
Chaser's looking to chase. He's got his Edge of Night, but they're just going to go ahead and back away from it. Dignitas, they're able to force Envy back with that play, which now allows them to move in from where Envy just moved out from, take control over the Baron area. And now Envy's the ones who have to respond to this. They have to run into a Team Dignitas that is rapidly burning away Baron's health, already got it down to almost dead, and it is secured. Dignitas find the objective. Now can they find the fight afterwards? Curtain Call opened up looking for Hakuho. 3 shots come out. The 4th one makes it there before the tidal wave interrupts it. Chaser's Edge of Night going to be popped by that laser from Ninja, and now the Baron minions are back in business.
Team Dignitas not over chasing there, even though they open up and get a little bit of a slow. Nobody rushing to try and capitalize. They don't need to really have any haste here. Just moving up with those minions. They can take their time. Baron buff empowered siege and crack through these inhibitor turrets.
Keane going to be on the front line with that. The Trinity Force doing a lot of work into this top lane tier 3. Chaser still hanging around. Seraph tries to jump in and find a little bit of damage, but quickly takes a lot in return. Redemption going to be used now from Hakuho as the turret falls. Envy is in retreat. Ssumday on the front line, but his damage is not going to be enough. Stunt getting himself killed by LirA's ultimate. Dignitas has to retreat now, unable to find that inhibitor.
Yeah, Ssumday taunts through the Edge of Night of LirA. Takes a bunch of damage on the way out, as well as stunts, and then stunt gets sniped by LirA. Nice collateral damage there to find a kill and put a stop to that siege. Thought for sure this Baron empowered siege was going to be able to grab an inhibitor for them, but good defense from Envy. They're able to buy themselves some more time.
Envy has been putting on a very good defense, a very coherent defensive effort entirely this whole way through. Here's exactly how that kill happened.
There it is. Somebody went in for that taunt, and Stunt took a lot of damage while he was moving up to follow. LirA just answers. Boom.
Graves' ult does a lot of damage, turns out. Dignitas, though, they're back to 5 men strong. We're going to continue this push. They've got that exposed inhibitor in top lane. They've got tier 3s to still take down in the other 2 lanes. Ssumday back on split push duty in the bottom part of the map. The rest of Dignitas hanging around on the other side, waiting for their chance to continue this push and put the final nails in the coffin against Team Envy, if this defense can be broken.
Yeah, let's see. How much time do they have left on this Baron? Just a little bit less than half, so still can definitely make use of it. Pushing in all 3 lanes, moving up the minions. The inhibitor on top side still exposed, so that will be the target. They should be able to call Ssumday over. If they should literally just have Ssumday right now pushing up 1 more wave of minions with the Baron buff, and then just use your Stand United early. Just get in there, get the extra shield on someone, and brute force this inhibitor. This inhibitor should have no chance of standing, but Ashe Arrow comes out for a counter initiation.
Ashe Arrow going to be missing everybody. Good job by Dignitas dodging away from that when Envy's still looking for some kind of a way to defend this. Inhibitor falls in the top side. Mid lane's going to be the focus next. Baron enchantment placed onto those minions. Ssumday, Chaser, all of Dignitas is here. Seraph trying to defend. Hakuho going to be eating some damage. Spirit's Refuge used to allow them to take this turret down cleanly. Now the inhibitor's got to be the target or a fight if Dignitas wants to go for that, if Envy steps up and tries to make that happen. The gravity field is placed, doesn't accomplish a whole lot, and Dignitas moves right back into position. Collateral damage going to be putting enough marks in those health bars to scare Dig off for a moment. But Dignitas still gets what they came for. They grab 2 lanes of inhibitors. Deadly Flourish not going to be finding anyone on the way out. Dignitas backs as a group and gets ready to make the final push into bottom lane.
Yep, should be the final one. They've got 2 Guardian Angels, 2 inhibitors down. And bottom lane's the only target left.
There's only one place left you can go, and that is exactly where Dignitas is bound. Elder Drake alive in 50 seconds. They don't want to be waiting on that. They've got a package to deliver, and the goal is EnVy's doorstep.
Moving up that ladder, hoping to improve here. 2 victories, this would make it for the season for this new revitalized Team Dignitas roster that was completely reworked here. Bringing in Ssumday, super high profile import. And he's been good this game, landing quite a few taunts there on Shen.
2-1-5. 7 out of 9 kill participation overall. Doing a great job just being on that front line. Nearly full build at this point in time, 39 minutes into the game. Package about to expire on the Corki. LirA hanging off to the side in case Dig makes some sort of crazy haphazard throw play.
EnVy also kind of just have to pull the trigger. You have super minions floating in. Time is not your friend. You just need to pull something off. Hope for a crazy teamfight victory here, and there they go.
There it goes. Lod's gonna be jumped on. Seraph looking to make the moves. Hextech automation issued.
Got him.
Seraph has got his kill. Now Chaser looking to find the response if he can. Seraph trying to jump himself away. Keane's gonna be brought low. Collateral damage, not finding the kill onto him, but Dignitas has lost the fight.
Seraph assassinates Laud on the backside, but all the minions didn't waste any time, and now they have to defend the Nexus while Team Dignitas can easily move over to the Elder Dragon.
Dignitas moving in for this neutral objective, unable to find what they were looking for there in the enemy base. Laud's not going to be getting this buff for himself, but the rest of Dig will have it for the next 2.5 minutes for that next push. This is such a problem when you have a couple of inhibitors down in your base. Even when you win, it still feels like you lose.
All right, double Summoner's AD carry, but Seraph finds a really good flank into the back line. He activates his Titanic, even through getting exhausted. He follows with his own flash and is able to take the kill, plus makes his escape. Meanwhile, on the bottom side here, LirA was trying to get 2 kills at once there, shooting Keane in the face and then firing the collateral damage off at stunt, but wasn't able to get either one of them. Regardless, it was enough to shove them off of their goal at the moment. Now Team Dignitas will come back with 4 of those Elder Dragons, though.
That is a 225 damage burn, by the way. 45 per Drake plus the 45 base. That's going to sting a lot when these guys go in for the fight. EnVy has got to be prepared for that. Hopefully they can find another pop onto somebody in the back line of Dignitas again, because they pretty much need it.
Yep, and I'm a big fan of just brute force, not wasting time. Even right as the minion wave comes up, move in with the minion wave, just Ssumday just stand united on top of someone on the front line, probably Chaser, and just run up to this turret and hand-to-hand.
Just hit it.
It's literally 2 shots.
They've got rapid fire cannons too. Keane and Lodge can just take a shot at it and burn it down. One more auto should do it. They don't go for it. They don't
2
go
shot.
for
We
it.
said it was 2. They got 1
They don't
on
go
it.
for it.
There it goes.
There we go. Okay, it's a 3 shot. Whatever. Ssumday gets it with the sword. That is the last standing turret not guarding the Nexus itself on the side of EnVy. It has now been destroyed. Inhibitor number 3 under pressure. Dignitas continues looking for their win. Apollo's going to be eating 1 vertical shot. Hakuho almost going to be picked off too, but it's Seraph into the back line. This time not going to be finding anyone just yet. He is down. EnVy in retreat as LirA and Apollo both going to be nearly killed. More rockets, more bullets, more problems coming their way. 2 dead on the side of EnVy. It was a long way getting there, but Dignitas will find their win in game number 2 and take this series 2-0. The Digna fans are excited. Awesome performance from Team Dignitas there. They got to be happy about what happened. They were able to get their victory. They're not in that last place tie anymore. They're moving back up towards where they're hoping to be.
High fives all around for them. Some smiles there as, yep, 2-0. And only ever slightly behind even in both those games. EnVy did get early leads, but it was never more than a couple of kills or 1,000 or so gold. And they were always able to remain cool and take those mid-game team fights.
Keane cleared the whole game without a single death. 3-0 and 4 on that Corki. Constantly keeping himself safe, just providing the poke that he needed to provide to help the team take these victories. We saw what he was constantly able to do, moving around the map, hitting the turrets with those Trinity Force procs. Dignitas now start their long journey back towards where they're wanting to be in the standings. You can see him high-fiving everybody in the crowd, feeling good about making that win happen. But now for Team EnVy, though, the question remains, both of these teams were tied for last, and the implication of that is this should be the easiest opponent that you face. If EnVy can't beat the other last place team, what are they going to do?
You're now last place.
And you're now the last place team.
I got to finish that off. There you go.
Okay, yeah, we got it. It's 1, 2, 3. Okay, EnVy is now last place, but where do they go from here? Everything
can't go down. At least not till the end of the season.
I guess they're going up. I guess they're going
Or stay where you are. There's only 2 options.
Or stay where you are. EnVy has definitely got some work to do. They've got to figure out how to remedy these problems, especially in that 20 to 25-minute zone where everything always seems to go wrong.
Yeah, definitely difficult. You know, the vision setting up for objectives, setting up for these team fights, the actual team fighting itself, even within the team fights, getting the coordination and the focus down. But for us, we are going to finish things up here over in the Battle Theater. And there is another game going on right now that people might be interested as well.
Just, you know, a little game, little contest between a couple of teams you might have heard of. Right now, we're going to go send everyone over to that one on NALCS 1 for the match of the week. Cloud9 versus FlyQuest.